Hey everybody, and welcome to Geeks and Drinks. I'm Jason.
Jordan.
And we just recently had the Super Bowl. To be honest, it was a fairly boring game. It was a good defensive game, but it was a very boring
Not
game.
fairly boring. It was boring as shit.
Well, we still had fun, though. But that wasn't part of the game, though.
Because I spent the past 2 days prior to hammered.
Yes, that is true. Which we're going to get into a little bit. But of course, go Pats. It was all good. But other than that, I haven't really done much, just dealing with the rain, which is awesome. I enjoy that.
I'm just glad we're back to a regular schedule-ish.
I know. Every other week, if we can keep that up, then we can continue on from there. Besides, this is our 80th episode.
Talk to me when we get to 100.
We'll get to 100 soon. Anyways, let's get into some conversation starters. And we have to start off with some, what would you say, eulogies? Yeah, well, let's call them.
In memoriams.
Yes.
Actually, that's a yearly thing. No, this is just R.I.P.
Yeah, for Batfleck. So it's been official that Ben Affleck is passing the torch on to another actor to play the role of Bruce Wayne and Batman. He played the role in Batman vs Superman, Dawn of Justice,
League.
Suicide Squad, and Justice League.
If you want to count Suicide Squad, he was in there for like 10 seconds.
It's still, he played the role at that point. He inspired a number of memes that ran its course. Everything to do with Martha.
No, he had the best meme, where it's like the depressed Bruce Wayne, where it's like it just shows him sitting there looking really sad after doing the Dawn of Justice, and it just slowly creeps in with like R.A.M. whatever the fuck that was, like all around me, all familiar fate. You just see him slowly dying inside. Or the one where he was outside just smoking a cigarette.
Yep. And we'll see what happens with all of this. So, to give a quick rundown of what happened was, there was supposed to be another film, just basically the Batman. It was going to be starring Ben Affleck. He was also going to write and direct.
The original, yeah, this was like over a year ago.
Right, it was going to be co-written by Jeff Johns, right? If I remember correctly.
He was involved in some way, but I don't think he
was
the
one way
writer.
or another at that point. Then it turned into he was too busy for that, so he...
Well, no, because it wasn't that he was too busy. It came out that people are like saying his script is terrible and he's stepping down. And then it came out, everyone's like, no, if you've read his script, which none of you will, it's fucking amazing. They're like, they're just not sure how they're going to make it work.
Gotcha.
And then it became that he was too busy, so he was going to step down. Or no, sorry, you're right. He was going to step down as director, but they were still going to use a script. And then they're like, oh, it's going to shit. Everything he's doing is terrible. And I was the only one that's like, dude, Batfleck was the best part of the Justice League stuff.
So, well, this basically has everything that was attached to it is now gone. So they say that the Batman film is still in production. It'll be scheduled to be released summer of 2021. So basically at this point, jack shit's been done with it. So
2 years from now, cool.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens with that, and we'll catch up for like a year and a half's time. Speaking of another thing we have to, say RIP to is Universal's Dark Universe.
Okay, that's misleading.
Really?
Okay, because from everything I've read, it's not rest in peace for the Dark Universe. It's rest in peace for the Dark Universe they had scheduled. Because they still want to go that way, but they're just scrapping all the shit that's happened. Because to be honest, most of us have already forgotten Dracula Untold.
Yes, which was to be the actual start of the Dark Universe.
Yeah, with Tywin Lannister as the original Dracula. The fuck that was.
No idea.
That's not to mention the fact that there was the remake of The Wolfman with Benicio del Toro and Anthony Hopkins.
And everybody forgot about that very quickly.
But do you see what I mean? And then there was The Mummy that was so lackluster with Tom Cruise. Yeah, but I can tell you, Jake Johnson's the best part of your movie.
That's saying something at that
point.
Wrong.
I love the man. I want him to be in all the things. But I mean, like,
Yeah.
I was calling that movie out shot for shot. Too sober.
Well, I look at it this way. With the reason I call the Rest in Peace the Dark Universe is because initially they were trying to create a shared universe, which is the buzzword thing of the
looks everyone wanted to have their Avengers moment.
Exactly. So it was one of those that we have to find a way to make all these movies, all these monsters inhabit the same world, so at one point we can feasibly put them all together.
Again, remember, this is an again thing. So you think back to the original Universal movies, the monster movies, that happened constantly.
Yes, it did.
Even with shit like, oh, we're going to throw Abbott Costello in this. The fuck, why?
Because we could.
Because we can and we want money. Done.
Yeah, exactly.
Frankenstein meets the Wolfman. Those movies all existed.
Yes. but it was one of those that
And it was borderline like a fucking Kevin Smith movie where it's like, oh yeah, you know how I know this is an old school monster movie? Because Bela Lugosi's hanging out over there somewhere.
mm-hmm, just because.
Yeah.
Well, I look at it more along the lines of now you see, like for example, because everyone's trying to copy the MCU.
Yeah.
You can have these collaborations, but the problem is Disney and Marvel has spent so much time and effort to deal with the continuity of everything. Because back
10
then,
years.
well, back then with the old school Universal films, they were just like, let's just throw this guy in here. Why?
Well,
Because we can.
It's because back then you could make movies on the cheap and make them quickly.
Yes,
Remember,
true.
that was their whole thing. Like it was that assembly line where you could just crank them out.
Exactly. But with nowadays, everybody has to have a reason to be there. They have to have all the world continuity to be continuous for everybody. No matter who you are, what movie they are, it all has to work together.
Well, even then,
At that point,
because
you're kinda asking
Marvel had
too
to
much.
build up to that point, though.
Yes, they did, but everyone's trying to play catch up as fast as humanly possible, and they're trying to get shortcuts, which is why we had all these problems so
Yeah.
far.
But like I said, this is not a rest in peace situation.
I do look at it as a rest in peace situation.
To me, it's a changing of the heading.
Okay.
Because yes, they're still going through with it.
Mm-hmm.
They're just saying, look, we're starting from scratch again. We want to take our time and do this well. We understand that's where we fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is a giant change from the fact that Johnny Depp was originally supposed to play the Invisible Man. Remember, he was in that
Yeah, I
Entertainment Weekly
remember
that
that.
came out, I think it was last year,
Mm-hmm.
where they're like, look, this is all the characters.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I mean the whole thing with Universal, they've already stated that they tabled the interconnected universe thing.
Mhm.
I'm agreeing with you that the dark universe is not entirely dead, but this format that they were initially trying to go for, that is dead. So I look at this going, okay, well, you're moving forward with a new director. You're having Jason Blum involved with a lot of the production aspects
Good.
of it. So, and he's done great work as of late. So why not, continue on with that pattern?
Well, yeah, he fucking knocked it out of the park with the Halloween movie.
Yes, he did, and we'll get back to that in a little bit. But for this one, I'm great to see a new generation of people checking out the Invisible Man. You know how people probably hopefully doing.
Well, the original Invisible Man was cool because it was Claude Rains.
Yes.
But I mean, other than that, that movie was it's so much camp.
Well,
Much
yes,
camp.
I agree completely. But wasn't that part of those monster movies' charm, though?
No.
To me, that was.
No. Not to the level of it. When was the last time you saw The Invisible Man?
It's been about 3 years since the last time I watched it.
Okay. Do you not remember the part where he strips ass, buck ass naked and Zoidberg's away?
Yes.
What?
It's camp.
Okay, but what other Universal monster movie has that?
He's a different kind of camp.
That's what I mean, though. Like, he's
All
his
right.
own fucking category.
So he's the Deadpool of the.
I wouldn't even say Deadpool. We're just like, we're just gonna fucking have fun with this.
All right. So.
He was. Yes, because he was invisible, so he took it to his advantage. But that's what I mean, though. His was a little more less serious and dark.
Mm-hmm.
Like Jess, who watched them all for the first time this past Halloween,
Right.
she's basically in the same boat as me. These movies aren't scary; they're just really depressing. It's stories about dudes who are just fucked hard.
Mhm.
Oh, speaking of those movies, Julie Adams, rest in peace. If you want to actually rest in peace something.
Okay, yeah, because she was in Creature from the Black Lagoon.
There you
right?
go.
Yeah.
One of the best ones that's constantly overlooked. I still stand it should have gotten its own monster cereal. I understand why they couldn't, but they could have done something.
They could have done something, yes.
Fuckers.
So, we'll have to see what happens with all these classic monsters. We get basically another reboot, but hopefully they'll get the care and effort that they deserve and bring it.
Give me a new creature movie.
Should
Hey,
be
one of
good.
you get around to that shit.
Well, speaking of people who just make a lot of shit around here and there, as much as possible, Disney. Disney, we know, has their upcoming Disney Plus streaming service coming out sometime this year, and they're claiming to be priced, aggressively priced, far lower than Netflix. So, the basic Netflix tier is $10 a month. So, the fact that you already throw the Disney name and you're going to throw all of their stuff behind it, that's going to be a guaranteed seller for a lot
And Marvel
of
stuff
families.
too.
Yeah, all the Marvel stuff, all the Star Wars stuff. It's going to be a one-stop shop for a lot of this. But they're not just content with that. They're working on a boatload of a new programming for it. And one of the things that's in the works right now is a new Muppet series. This is actually going to be developed by Josh Gad, which that I'm not too happy about.
Why? What do you have against Josh Gad? Really? Really, you're Olaf?
You see, you bring that up, but you guys know, as much as I love Frozen, Olaf is the worst character of the entire movie. I do not like him. How is this news to you? I've talked about this before.
No, just your opinion on it. I still just. Anywho,
Yes.
your Muppets with Josh Gad for some reason.
So with this whole thing, it's rumored to be titled Muppets Live Another Day, and the idea behind this one is
No one wants to let the Muppets die.
Well, Disney does not want to let the Muppets die, but according to a lot of people, including Frank Oz, they did not like when they had the Muppet series on ABC. They say that was the wrong idea. That was a complete misfire.
Who did that, by the way?
Who ran that one?
Yeah.
Oh, I do not remember.
But like, so at this point, it was no one important that we would know of.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So they took it in a different direction. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed it, but
Well, yeah, when you make gay jokes about Fozzie Bear,
yeah.
I was like, oh, someone's trying to get edgy.
But then you also had scenes of Animal doing a drum battle with Dave Grohl.
But don't get me wrong,
I mean-
I enjoyed it for what it was,
Mhm.
but it didn't really feel like the Muppets.
You know, Kermit complaining about the traffic on the 405 and stuff like that, or
You know, him and Miss Piggy are going through some shit, and he was dating, how am I blanking on her name? Elizabeth Banks, and Miss Piggy was off sleeping with like Nathan Fillion or some shit.
right.
Mm.
So this one, aside from Josh Gad, that's just my little bit. They have Adam Horowitz, who actually is one of the writers from the Once Upon a Time series, is jumping on this, and this is actually not going to be taking place in modern times. This is going to be set after Muppets Take Manhattan, where the it's going to be a small contained miniseries, probably only just several episodes, of the team, the gang trying to find Rolf, who's apparently disappeared. I'm kind of good with that part
All
of
right.
itself.
Whatever.
So, I mean, they're trying to probably go back to the old school feel good, like nothing can go wrong, everything is, rainbows and puppies and whatnot. And we'll see what happens with all of that. But in any case, we're
Good.
not going to see this
Just
until
have-
at
just
least
have Paul
2020.
Williams do the music.
That'd be nice. Paul Williams better have something to do with this. I mean, he created some of the most iconic music from the Muppets anyway, so continue on with that. That's just me.
Voice of the Penguin, man.
Yeah, that's true.
And he's in a Daft Punk song.
That is true. Although I do have to. One of my favorite moments of him was when at the Grammys, where they won Album of the Year, Daft Punk. Paul Williams went up there, and he got to the microphone first, and I'm paraphrasing here, but basically went, I spent so much of my life expanding my mind with drugs and alcohol and whatnot, and then I finally get clean, and then two robots come to my door and ask me to make an album. Yeah, I know.
Keep pumping out jams.
Yes.
But speaking of the Disney, was it called Disney Plus?
It's called Disney Plus.
Whatever.
That's their new thing, like their ESPN streaming. They call that ESPN Plus. I don't know why they're going with this whole Plus thing. Whatever. It's a whole branding thing. They'll figure it all out.
Captain Marvel will be the first Marvel movie to be on there exclusively.
Yes, which is going to cost Disney a boatload of money in terms of revenue at beginning, because they know that Netflix loves to pay out the cash for it. I mean, they're rumored to be losing about $150 million on this deal, but in the long run, from when Disney Plus launches, I look at that as take the hit now, get everybody on board with the new service, and that's just going to pay for itself over time very quickly.
I just got really excited and sad all at the same time.
Why?
Because all I saw was the words House of Mouse in the article you pulled up.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, fuck yeah, are they bringing back House of Mouse? And then I realized they were just referencing to Disney.
No.
I love that show.
That was a fun show. It had its fun.
Let's watch some old school Disney cartoons and then
Do some
just
little
watch all
modern
the
skits.
characters react with each other.
Yeah.
It was great. The Halloween episode where it became the House of Villains.
Yes, I remember that. We just watched that for last Halloween again.
It's fucking fantastic.
Mm-hmm. All right. But yes, so with Disney, they're going to start making sure that everyone knows that Disney Plus is the way to go for all of your Disney, Marvel, Star Wars needs. So
That's right, because they're getting The Mandalorian and shit too, right?
The Mandalorian is an exclusive to Disney Plus.
I'm still intrigued to see how that's going to go.
considering everybody they have behind it,
Because when they originally announced it, they made it sound like it was Game of Thrones and Star Wars.
Yes.
And now the fact that like we're not going for anything, like they want it to be like the LaCroix of like television. Oh, we can't have it go PG-13. Too spicy. Too spicy.
Too spicy. All right. Let's get to some trailers real quick, shall we? We're gonna go through just a couple of them, and then we'll break down the majority of the stuff that happened during the Super Bowl, because that's one of the biggest times of the year people like to spend ridiculous, unseen amounts of money just to get more eyeballs on a product. Let's start with Shaft. To which I will say, 3 days ago, I didn't even know they were making another Shaft film.
I didn't either. I was confused when people kept saying, "Oh, they're rebooting Shaft." I'm like, again?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, there's another Shaft film.
I don't mean this in a racist or bad way, but I feel like this was just made after Black Panther made a ton of money, and like, done.
Yeah.
Because all I could think about was the whole Donald Glover thing, where it's like, he's black and nerdy, he could play Spider-Man. And it's
that
he's
whole
black.
thing.
Why don't you
yeah.
just go play Shaft? No one said
No.
he should play Shaft.
No, someone said,
like, is that your only instinct when you think of black superheroes? Shaft? The guy who pimp slaps women constantly?
Yeah.
Come on, if you're going blaxploitation, you go Black Dynamite or you go home.
There you go.
But anyhow, Shaft.
Yeah, so Shaft,
So is this another reboot, though?
No, this is, as far as I can tell in all the articles I've read about it, is that, they had the early 2000s, they had a Shaft remake movie that also starred Sam Jackson.
Yes, Christian Bale was a bad guy.
Yes, he was the bad guy. You also had, wasn't Richard Roundtree in that one too? I can't remember. I think he was the uncle.
Moses and I tried to watch it once, and I believe we got drunk and gave up halfway through.
Fair enough. Okay. But in this one, I believe this is a continuation of it.
Okay. That's cool.
But they're changing a couple things onto, so there's some continuity issues. I believe Richard Roundtree was the original Shaft, and then Sam Jackson's character in the 2000 remake was his nephew. Now, in this one, Richard Roundtree is Shaft's father. So you have 3 generations of Shaft in this one. You have Richard Roundtree, you have Sam Jackson, and then you have who this newcomer is.
Sorry,
I can't remember
it's
his
really
name.
hard to me not to make a dick joke.
Well, of course you can.
We have 3 generations of Shaft.
You can go for it. You know you're going to.
I'm sorry. 3 generations of Shaftmen, whatever. And each one... Well, was Shaft his first name or last name?
Just Shaft.
But I thought, so he's like Madonna, just the one name?
Yes.
I swore he had an... No, you're right there. John Shaft, 1. They have names.
We just know him as Shaft.
Racist.
What? Where the fuck did that come from? Okay, anyway.
Anywho, no, look at them. They each have different variations of, hair.
Well, one's all
the father,
gray and white, yeah.
The father's basically just has a beard.
Right.
No hair up top.
Yeah.
Shaft. Wow.
Sam Jackson.
Classic Shaft. Okay. He only has a beard, but it's an actual beard as opposed to Shaft Senior, who at least still has the shit on the side.
Right.
That Picard look, if you will. And then Shaft Jr. has no facial hair. Or if he does,
no, he has a little mustache.
He just has the pubes up here.
Yeah.
And just a full head of hair.
Yeah.
Each one has a different look with the same red leathery jacket for some reason.
Yep, that's just going to be probably one of the climax scenes.
Called Son of Shaft.
Son of Shaft.
Sorry, no, that was the original name.
It was original called Son of Shaft. They just called it Shaft for this one. Now,
well, that's chronologically fucked because the original reboot was just called Shaft.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of horseshit is that?
Hey, it could be worse. It could be what was it? In the early 80s, if I remember correctly, there was actually one of the later Shaft movies with Shaft Goes to Africa or something like that.
Good.
Yeah.
Would love to see Shaft or Sam Jackson just pimp slap a rhino.
All right. But
just call him a bitch or something.
Watching this trailer though, it was entertaining. They did this whole buddy cop dynamic with this father son grandson kind of vibe to it. I like it. I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be a definite lighter change in tone than what they had back in the early 2000s.
Wasn't that the point? This is just kind of whatever. I'm calling him Shaft Classic.
Shaft Classic.
basically is gonna
original Shaft, Shaft Classic,
Well, you have-
and new Shaft.
you have Shaft Classic,
Uh-huh.
Shaft Senior, and Junior Shaft. There's a whole
All
lot
right.
of Shaft going on in this episode.
Mm.
Like I feel like Shaft Senior is playing like you young kids don't know how it's done, and the young one's gonna basically chime in. Oh, you too old to understand what's going on.
Right.
And there's just Sam Jackson Miller. It's like, motherfucker, you only get one. Use it wisely. Mother father, monkey farming. Tired of all these monkey fighting snakes on this Monday to Friday plane.
Mm.
That's still one of my favorite
It's
censors.
so bad. Let's get through this other stuff fairly quickly. We have Birds of Prey. We only had a teaser trailer of this showcasing very brief glimpses of the cast in costume, with not really an idea
Just
of what
strobe
to
lighty things?
expect. Yeah.
Oh no, that right there is enough for me. Oh, Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Woman's gorgeous. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, she is.
No, I will say this because of her. Like I watched the trailer like a lot.
Mhm.
Because again, it's just quick.
Yeah, you
Like,
you
even-
freeze it to see
Even if you're trying to pause it to try to be that weird Snoop person,
as
like,
people on the internet
it's
do.
super fucking hard. But did you notice her dog tag?
No, I did
Not
not.
hers, Harley Quinn's.
No.
When one of the things where it pauses, she has a dog tag.
Right.
I'm assuming and I'm hoping, well, because I think I saw somewhere like it's meant to be one of two things.
Mhm.
Either one, Bruce Wayne's involved
Okay.
as some kind of big reveal,
Okay.
or two, it is a throwback to the actual creator of Harley Quinn.
Well, that would be nice if they actually did that.
Because the dog tag that she wears,
Mm-hmm.
and again, it is literally a dog tag with like a little bone charm right here that just says Bruce.
Mm.
So I saw that and I immediately thought of the Amanda, the fuck's her name? Jess, you have the comics for it. Hold on.
As he looks at the comics that we have right here.
No, this right here. This
Yeah.
exact fucking issue
Mm-hmm.
where she wins a date with Bruce Wayne and kisses both of them. Both Batman and Bruce Wayne. Because of this, because the actual story is called "And the Fabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn." So would it be that far out of line to assume that he has a moment like that?
No, that wouldn't be out of line for something like that to actually happen for the character. And trust me, they need to do something about that character, considering how she was portrayed in the Suicide Squad movie.
God, that was so terrible.
Yes, it was. So having this come out hopefully before Suicide Squad 2.
And we're done with Jared Leto.
Yeah. So happy for that.
God, he was terrible.
Yes, he was. Hashtag not my Joker.
Wasn't that like our first episode?
That was our second episode.
Jesus.
So we talked about that. Another
I
trailer.
can't wait till like 2 years from now when we're on like episode
84.
150 or whatever the fuck we're on. We can say we're gonna get slightly more regular. We're gonna take our Metamucils and make sure everything's good.
There you go.
Yeah. Calling it now. That's what
All
it
right.
is. That's the story.
Okay. Well, let's talk about this next one. This trailer actually came out before the Super Bowl, but it did have its own version during the Super Bowl to get more views. This is The Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw.
Try to make it seem like it came out because before the Super Bowl was anything big. How many commercials did they already release before the Super Bowl?
Yeah, they have that whole thing now. Like 2 weeks before the Super Bowl, they have to go, here is our video, or here's our commercial that
Super
was
Bowl commercial. Get ready.
or here's our
Why are you
commercial
showing it
that
to us
was
now?
banned. Yeah, something like that.
Because they did the same thing with the commercial with the dude and Carrie Bradshaw. A cosmopolitan, milady. I'll have a Stella Artois. Fuck you, horse face. And then the dude walks in. It's like, oh, you want a white Russian? I'll actually have a Stella Artois. And everyone freaks the fuck out.
Yeah.
Remember that was released like a good week and a half before the Super Bowl.
I thought they were just teasing it before the Super Bowl. I remember actually saw the commercial before it.
You sent a link for it.
I sent a link to a teaser for it.
Oh, and you and Jess both sent a link to it.
Oh, okay.
It was like basically the fucking full trailer.
Yeah. Oh well. It's just a commercial.
Actually,
Doesn't
let me
matter.
phrase that. The one you sent was like basically the whole trailer, and I think the one Jess sent was just the bit of the dude, which basically was the trailer, all that you needed to see.
That is
Because
true.
no one needs Sarah Jessica Parker.
No.
The only time you needed her was when she was in Hocus Pocus.
Ah, yes. Better times.
So, anyways, We get a new movie with Idris Elba being a super villain.
Yeah, it looked like he was a supervillain at this point. Like, he was punching, like, steel walls and stuff like that. I mean, it's Idris Elba. Why would you not want to see him do stuff like that?
I think this movie was more or less made so they can get away from Fast and the Furious and just start a new franchise of its own.
Yeah.
Mainly because the whole thing where, like, The Rock hates, what's his puss? Vin Diesel.
Mm-hmm.
Like, apparently they just fucking hate each other.
Yeah, not surprising. So let them go off and do their own thing, have it under the same banner, but let them go off and be as more crazy as they want at this point. And it gives them just the complete freedom to do whatever they want at that point without being tied to, we must have everything surrounding cars.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, it looks to be fun. It looks to be absolutely ridiculous, which is going to lead to it being more entertaining. So,
dude, I just realized this beer is 6.66%.
Yes, it is. Good time as any for us to talk about it. We're like 40 minutes in. Yeah, so the beer we have is from the AleSmith Brewing Company. It's called My Bloody Valentine Ale. It tastes more like an IPA than anything else.
Yeah, a little bit.
And it's 6.66% by volume. I mean,
it's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I mean, outside of its namesake, I would never buy this. I'm glad you did.
Well, you're not a fan of the IPAs, so.
But let me phrase it. It tastes like an ale. It tastes exactly like what it's named.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it's not the kind of the ales I prefer.
Oh, well.
Which, you know what that is.
Yes. Gotta love the reds.
Little roses from God.
So, looks to be fun. Hobbs and Shaw.
Oh, yeah.
Comes out, I think, later on this year.
I have people giving me an infinite amount of shit just because it's like, oh, you just don't like the Fast Furious movies. Look, I saw all I needed to see. I'm good. What do you mean by you've seen all you needed to see? Saw the first two. Jordan, there's like 8 of them now.
Come on, we gotta watch Tokyo Drift.
Actually, I think there's more. Just how many of them are there?
You're at 8.
I thought it was more.
No, 7. Because 6 was the stupid plane being pulled down.
Again.
7 was the death of Paul Walker's character.
I have no idea. You could tell me there was part 9's the one where the ghost of Paul Walker comes back and donkey punches Vin Diesel. I'd be like, oh, word, that was a twist I wasn't expecting.
They already did confirm that they're making Fast and Furious 8, 9, and 10.
Well, yeah.
But now they're going to expand with stuff like this, so.
I still stand by that meme. If they don't name the 10th one Fast 10 your seatbelts, I'm going to be pissed. Really, Jess? That's what gets you to actually answer the terrible pun from the internet?
Puns. All the puns.
Puns are the best.
So that comes out August of this year. Let's just go through briefly some of the other stuff that showed up during the Super Bowl. You had started off before the game even started, the Avengers Endgame spot. It was 30 seconds long. I do like the fact that it shows.
Thank you for calling it a spot. I was getting fear.
It's not a trailer.
Okay, yeah, but that's what was bothering me on the internet. Everyone was like the new Endgame trailer, the new Avengers trailer, and it's like I would barely call that a trailer.
No, it was a spot.
I've had farts that lasted longer than that.
I do like the fact that in this spot they showcase that after the snap or whatever the fuck they want to call it that actually happened, the decimation or something like that.
I did like that there was a support group that had like the poster that's like, what do we do now that they're all gone?
Yeah.
Live your goddamn life.
They actually show that no, shit did not get better. Shit actually got worse.
And there's Steve Rogers sitting there like an old man.
Yeah. Although he did freshly shaven, so.
Well, yeah. Dude, did you see that meme? Or not a meme, it was actually like a whole like Twitter thing where like, I keep saying like too much.
Like.
Chris Evans was like, technology is getting really out of hand. We don't need all this. And immediately, like, Mark Ruffalo and Robert Downey Jr. were like, ease their old man Rogers.
It sounds like he needs to get a lesson from the Science Bros.
Yeah. That was fucking perfect.
It's stuff like that. You look at these actors and they're like, they know the character. They know how to respond to it. It's not really staged. It's just we can respond back to each other and just have fun with all
dude,
this.
One of my favorite behind-the-scenes stories is the whole thing with Avengers 1. With Robert Downey Jr. and his snacks.
Yes, the whole thing with the blueberries, right?
Anything.
Yeah.
It wasn't just the blueberries. He did it constantly.
Well, he did it constantly, but
the one that made it into the movie was the blueberries. It's like, blueberry?
Yeah.
Like, they're just like, fuck it, we'll just go with it.
We'll just go with it,
because they kept hiding shit, and they gave it up.
Yeah. So yeah, we don't have too much longer for Avengers Endgame. Comes out in April.
Oh, and I saw a thing online. They're already making or calling shit out. There was that scene where there's like 3 of them walking down like a long like lawn.
Mm-hmm. You talking about the one that's been digitally removed?
Where they're like, oh yeah, someone's been digitally removed.
Someone's missing at that point, and which makes sense. They've done that before in the past. They've either digitally removed people from a scene in a trailer, or they've actually created brand new entire scenes just for the trailer itself.
Oh yeah,
like for Infinity War, the whole scene of it was like Hulk and Black Panther and Captain America, where they're all like rushing through the jungle towards the camera. Never happened in the movie whatsoever.
Anywho,
the other Marvel spot that was on there was for Captain Marvel. This comes out in March. It's just essentially a recap of everything we've seen so far in the trailers. There was a couple new scenes.
Yeah, it's literally nothing new.
Yeah, so that comes out. There was a Toy Story 4 video that I actually had a good laugh at.
Whatever, I'm still waiting for Keanu.
We'll see Keanu eventually when it gets closer to the actual, movie release time. There was a trailer for the Twilight Zone.
That was my favorite trailer.
Same here. That one, as soon as it was announced that Jordan Peele was bringing this back, he wanted to focus on how the originals worked out, and he wanted to make it an homage to that style. I was all set. I'm like, just go. Please go. Just have fun with it.
Well, because Twilight Zone was one of those things I always really wanted to watch, but never got around to.
Okay.
It was one of those weird things where, like, Doctor Who, oddly enough, my mom was very much one of those people where it's like, don't watch this, it's the devil, but PBS, watch all of the PBS. And I remember seeing, like, random episodes of Twilight Zone and Doctor Who, like, as a fucking baby, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't realize what I was watching until later when I got older. It's like, wait, that frilly head dude with the long scar, that was the Doctor? That makes so much more sense now. Like, I had no context to anything.
Okay.
Or it's like, who's this dude in a fine suit speaking to me? Like, he's almost Howard Cosell. And then going into something else, what is this?
Picture, if you will.
But, yeah, I didn't have that. I didn't know what was happening. I mean, literally, thank God for the age of Netflix, where now everything's at my goddamn fingertips.
Yeah, you're spoiled.
No. Cursed.
Too much time. No, too many things to watch. Not enough time.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, I can get that. But yeah, so Twilight Zone looks great. I can't wait for it. The only downside is not going to be available online for free. You have to pay for it.
It's because it's on the CBS
bullshit. All Access bullshit. Yes, which is like.
I have to like it, Jason.
It's
I just
like
know it's
$7 a month, and it has the Star Trek series, which I still haven't watched.
Oh, that's
yet.
Right. I forgot Star Trek was one of those things.
I watched the first episode, and I haven't watched a single one since.
Because they put the Star Trek thing for free, no?
They put the first episode for free,
and
they showed it on TV.
Yeah, and then was their little like cock tease, like, you want it? Here's the tip.
Yeah.
You like it? You want it?
Yeah.
Come play with us.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
Like, you son of a bitch.
So, but this is one of those things that, are you gonna do it week to week, or are you gonna release them all at once and let me binge it? Because if that's the point, I'll pay for a week trial on.
I don't think you'll do that though.
No, you think they'll do week to week?
Yeah.
Damn.
So that's how they stop people from who are just gonna binge the whole fucking thing.
Binge and leave. Yeah.
Or binge it, download the whole thing, and put it up online.
That is true. Oh, okay. So the conversation starters lasted over an hour.
Like you do.
So thankfully, with our week's top story, we're going to talk more about booze. So, Jordan.
Oh, yeah.
You have a little notebook right here you've been working on for a while now.
Yes and no. There have been many notebooks over the years. This is the one that stuck around the longest. And literally, I bought it just because I needed some lined paper. Because I made a promise to someone that I would actually send them a handwritten note. And it's like, oh, fuck, you need paper for that. That's a thing.
I can't just print something out.
I can't just send them a goddamn email or take blank printer paper because my penmanship is god-awful. Thank you, you agree. It's terrible. But luckily, my friends and I, we're all degens. So any stupid thing I've ever done over the years, I've very much saved and taken notes.
Right.
Especially because there's the old Adam Savage quote, the difference between science and screwing around
It's writing stuff
is
down.
writing it down.
So with yours,
Sorry,
though...
I literally, there's just a page that just says Gloria. I think it says Apids Specialist, August 3rd. There's just a whole page that says that. Because reasons.
What have you been using it for as of late?
Mostly for documenting adventures in booze. I remember, if you guys want to remember correctly, in a previous episode, we made a cocktail on here called the Darth Revan.
So good. So good.
This is the amount of stupid bullshit that went into this.
Yeah.
Literally, just all the stupid notes and everything
down,
that I did.
Write the ideas. This didn't work. This did. What were our responses to it?
The pumpkin bomb that I made a while back. That was a thing.
Yep.
Another shit ton of notes. The most recent one is because I know my knowledge into most hard alcohols is lacking, except for maybe whiskeys.
Whiskeys, bourbons.
Because, again...
Stuff we've drunk for a while.
You do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life.
There you go.
I
do love the fact we're actually adding more Letterkenny references into it. Great show, go watch it.
Yeah, it's happening. Well, I've been saying that, but whatever.
Yeah.
So, gin. Gin was the big thing where I knew that
it's kind of an unknown for us.
I always thought of it as something shitty. Because... And as I found out later why, I always thought it was something terrible. And like most stories, until a girl tells you otherwise, and you're like, look, I adore you. I guess I'll give this another go.
Right.
So many years ago, or not even that, 3 years ago, whenever we saw Bo Burnham in L.A.
That was like 3 years ago, yeah.
Becca, of all people, was like, have a gin and tonic with Hendrix.
Right.
Ooh, gin.
Yeah.
You're lucky I like you. Let's do this. And I realized that wasn't bad. And since then, I've been wanting to give gin its fair shake.
Right.
And I've learned that the reason why most people have a prejudice towards gin is the fact that they immediately think of a London Dry gin. And they usually try it on its own. That is why most people think of gin as like the bastard cousin of vodka.
Yes.
Where it tastes like something you're getting from a plastic bottle and it's not great. No. Mm-hmm. If you spend the time and look at what you're doing, it's actually not bad. Which again, going back to the fucking handy dandy notebook, and the SuperBowl, why I said I was wasted for like 2 days.
Yeah, the day before the Super Bowl, I came over to our friend's house. You were already drinking at that point, but you were doing testing. You brought me into it very quickly.
Okay, because Lauren and I were already pretty deep.
Yeah.
Our buddy Lauren, he might show up in an episode. I know he wants to. It may happen one day. But what ended up happening was Lauren agreed to try different gins and shit with me.
Right.
I'm not gonna mention how much I actually spent on booze that weekend.
When you're doing research, money is not an issue at that point. We'll leave it at that, and you can move on. So for science reasons, you had a bunch of different alcohol because you wanted to figure out what was going on.
And I definitely researched gin of itself.
Mm-hmm.
The difference between a regular gin, and if you can find it, Hendrix is a regular gin, which you've had.
Yes.
And a London Dry gin is London Dry gins are not fermented as long.
Right.
So most of the alcohol taste comes through.
And that was the weird part that when you explained it to me, I was confused because I always thought that...
Like an IPA, it's the opposite.
Yes.
Okay. Think of it in the sense of like with whiskeys and scotches.
Mm-hmm.
You know how they sit in casks, barrels,
right,
to absorb the flavors from the side?
Yes.
You don't have that. There's less time to absorb things.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting more of the ethanol taste behind it.
Right, which is why you just light it on fire if you
really
wanted to.
It's the reason why the London Dry or the younger age stuff has more of that stronger ethanol
more potency, taste. Yeah.
Whereas the longer things have this sweeter taste. But the problem is most gins out there are London Dries.
Right.
So they will taste potent.
Mm-hmm. Well, for example, like the Hendrix, when you first gave it to me, because you gave me three. You gave me Hendrix, you gave me the Fords, and you gave me what was the last one? That was the
Juniper Strength.
Yes. And Super Strength was the driest out of all of them.
Yeah,
right?
that was the I'm gonna kick you in the face gin.
I looked at it as after trying all three that the Hendrix was smooth enough
Oddly
of a taste
sweet and smooth
that I could just enjoy that, just
on the rocks.
pouring that on the rocks, couple ice cubes, and I'm good. I can enjoy that at that self.
As a 2-note drink, it's perfect.
Yes. With the Fords, I look at it as that's a great flavor profile to add to a mixed drink.
Keep in mind, Ford's is still a solid gin.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going bottom of the well. I mean, I'm gonna say this: Beefeater. That's pretty close to being down there.
Well, Beefeater is what a lot of the major bars just carry, anyways.
Yeah, you'll always find that there, or even Bombay Sapphire.
Yes.
So Ford's is like the step above that. Lauren wanted to go down into that realm, and it's like, no, we've had those. We know why we don't like those.
Right.
Maybe one day we can go back and revisit those and think back to be like, oh yeah, this is why we don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
But
with
we skip those for a reason.
Yes. And with the driest of the gin, that hits your nose more than anything else.
Again, it kicked you in the fucking mouth and then it vanished.
Yes.
It was the weirdest fucking thing ever.
Like I explained at the time, it's like I would put it in the equivalent of flash paper.
Yep.
You hit it, giant spark. Oh my God, what's going on? Gone.
Again, if you're looking, because again, that is a high proof cocktail, or at least that alcohol. That alcohol was 98.6%.
Jesus Christ. It's fucking ethanol.
Whereas Hendrix on the lower end was 88%, and the dry gin, the Fords, was only 90.
Right.
So again, you have something that's like 10% higher.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's where you get the whole.
So to basically recap,
So if you're looking for something that, like, if you're going to use a lot of heavy juices for, like tiki drinks, like I used it specifically when I made a Singapore Sling, it's perfect for that.
Okay.
You never actually got to have that version.
No, I did not.
But, no, I made that with the Fords. Because I didn't want to actually subject anyone to the super strength at that time. So the super strength has a lingering taste. Sorry. The Fords has a lingering taste, but it's not as strong. Whereas the super strength, it fucking punches you in the face, and then it's gone.
Right.
So if you go for a much more sweeter drink, like a tiki drink, where there's a ton of juice and other things, fantastic. Go with the super strength. If you're going for a mixer, I would say if you're going for something that has 3 ingredients or more, go for a Ford, something in the middle.
Something that'll hold around a bit longer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It has a strong enough taste to where, no matter the cocktail, you'll know it's gin, but not so strong to the point where you're just drinking gin.
Okay.
If you're having a 1 or 2 note drink, like a gin and tonic, or again,
go for the smoother, older.
Bonus round is happening this weekend. I'll let you know how it goes.
Cool.
Hendrix. For a single 1 or 2 note drink, Hendrix is the way to go.
Right.
But again, this is going way into overtime. Basically, Lauren and all of us, went through and tried 10 different drinks. And again, this is the reason why it lasted an entire weekend.
That was a lot of booze.
To say we got wasted is
So,
putting it mildly.
Let's fast forward a little bit to what we are drinking today.
A gimlet can suck it. I can tell you right now, out of all the 10 drinks we had, I'll go through it real quick. We tried each of the single whiskeys. Everyone basically agreed with everything we just said. Gin and tonic, can't really go wrong with that.
It's a G&T. What do you expect?
Hendrix is the best one to do for that 1 or 2 note drinks. Gimlet, fucking terrible. I'm sorry. There's no reason for a gimlet. Whoever decided to actually call it a gimlet, fuck you. A Tom Collins, boozy lemonade.
Delicious.
And if you make it correctly, it tastes like hot dog on a stick lemonade.
It's a sleeper
but with
drink.
alcohol.
Yeah, it's a sleeper drink at that point where you.
Well, no, its only ingredients are gin, lemon juice, simple syrup, and club soda.
Yeah.
Literally, the purest form.
But if you do it in the right,
which I think I did a decent way.
You drink and you're like, oh, this is pretty good, and it's not until afterwards you're like, oh, there was alcohol in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you do it right, it's fucking fantastic. Negroni.
They can go fuck themselves.
Fucking die in a church fire. Campari's god awful.
So when we all had that, we all took the sip and we all at the same time basically went, what the hell is this? It was like cough syrup that went bad and aged for 10 years.
But because all the drinks I've mentioned, I've already done that far on my own. The only thing I noticed that was different was the Campari.
Right.
So I made Jason take a swig. I made Lauren take a swig. Jess and myself, we all took a swig. We were like,
Yeah, no. God, no.
Whatever
that
that
stuff
is.
can die in a church fire.
never again. I'm skipping the next drink because we'll get to that one last so we can
Yes.
talk about this. A Martinez was another drink we did. It was very solid.
Yes, it was.
That was the second drink where we all got super hammered, or we were all super hammered. We decided, one note, the Singapore Sling. Mine was also not the traditional one. The one that I did.
How did you make yours?
The one that I did was lemon juice, demerara syrup, Luxardo, Sanguine something. No, because it has like a weird name.
Okay.
Benedictine, which is the actual regular ingredient that will be in all of them. The gin, which I used the Ford's. That was the one you had. The one I made later was with the extra strength. Dude, it's so much better.
Is it now?
It's fucking weird, but it's actually so much better.
So the drier gin actually works better in that aspect.
Because again, look at how much is in it. A dash of orange bitters and Angostura bitters and seltzer.
Okay, so the
Think
fact
about
that you have
how much
so
shit
much
is in it.
in there, and you want something to have that flash in the pan.
You still need to have that punch of gin.
Right.
Because
okay.
that's still going to be super subtle. Ramos Gin Fizz.
We're being very educational here, by the way. We're helping you guys figure out. what to do
Ramos
with
Gin Fizz. Way too much fucking work. It is goddamn delicious, but there is a fuck ton of work.
I was gonna say you were on that one for a while, weren't you?
Oh, I sat there with a fucking like shaker going like this for 5 minutes.
Uh-huh.
Only stopping to fuck with you and be like, Jason, you're like, this is exquisite. Going to Jess and Drea, just going, they're like, nope, what the fuck is that?
I mean, given the point that where we're at right now, recording this, it's about 45 degrees in this room. I love it. But
Oh yeah, literally just a t-shirt and his fucking hat. I have a long sleeve shirt on under my own shirt.
If I take off this hat, I swear I will start steaming.
He
So,
might. I've seen proof. I've been there for it. But the Ramos Gin Fizz, if you're willing to just make one drink, it's fucking fantastic. It tastes like a weird coconut milkshake, even though there's no coconut in it.
Yeah, that is the weird part about when you did make that. I could have sworn it was a tropical drink, and then when you listed the ingredients,
Which is gin, heavy cream, lemon and lime juice, simple syrup, 3 dashes of orange water. But the only reason why Lauren made me fucking track this shit down because that was the one drink he wanted. And I'm like, really? You're choosing the most difficult goddamn drink. Fuck it, let's do it.
all right.
And 1 egg white.
And the egg white itself was probably one of the harder parts. She had to shake it so much to get it fully
Yeah.
inclusive with everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I shook the goddamn thing to where basically the outside just had a sheet of ice.
And it stuck to your hand because of that.
Once or twice, yeah.
Yeah.
That was weird. Oddly enough, a martini was one of the last drinks we went to, which you would think would be one of the earlier ones.
That is true. But it's a martini. It's solid. I know I personally love it. A dirty martini more than anything else.
Well,
but-
yeah, because I gave you the martini, you're like, needs olive juice. Just so much more olive juice. I'm like, fuck you.
At least I was asking for like a chocolatini or something like that.
Again, from the Martinez was the last drink on Saturday, and then Sundays when we started with the other ones.
Right.
Okay. And then again, keep in mind, I was still making drinks for everyone else while still just sticking to the schedule.
Yes.
Where it's like, oh, I need something. Jess, how do you feel about a Singapore Sling? What do you mean? Well, the way I'm doing it now, it tastes like a fucking dirty Shirley without vodka. Ooh, that sounds delightful. I'll have one of those. Done. Cool.
Right.
Well, I want one of these. Cool. Done. Well, I want a Tom Collins. It tastes like a boozy lemonade. Fuck you. Done. Like I basically was bartender for like 2-3 hours.
You were? Yes.
And the drink that I skipped, which is what we're drinking now, which I'm glad we finally get to, because it makes sense why I'm drinking a weird pale blue drink.
The Aviation. Out of everything, I would say this is the tied for first.
This or the Tom Collins?
Yes.
The Aviation is gin, maraschino, creme de la violet.
Yeah, you found this. You had to hunt this stuff down, right?
No. Total Wine.
Total Wine actually had this in stock.
Clear as day.
Creme de Violet.
Yep.
Even though it says imitation liqueur.
Well, imitation liqueur. It's still a liqueur.
Yeah.
And lemon juice. So essentially, earlier in the episode, if you paid attention, that's what I was making in my lap. I wasn't just pouring alcohol on my crotch. Because I made the mistake of finishing it all. It's a weird drink. Technically, you're not supposed to actually shake it with ice. You're just supposed to slowly mix it.
I just laughed that you're mixing it in a My Little Pony drink cup.
Jason, this is what you had availavailable.
That's also my cup, so I can't
Again,
really complain
what
too
do
much.
I have at home versus what you have here?
Yes, I know. Good times. It's an absolute delicious drink. It is. What if you just took like an Otter Pop and just melted it?
So this is my favorite, because this was the last drink we made before giving up and realizing we're not doing things separately. Because throughout the night, prior to Jason showing up, I was doing cocktail tastings with myself and Lauren. So in the book itself, there was always a J or an L, depending on whose opinion there was. Granted, Lauren was fucking useless because all of his shit was like, oh, it's tasty, or that was good.
Or just give you a face.
Cool. That was for the gimlet, and I understood that one. So the Aviation's the only one that has a J/L/JP. And it just said, it's liquid magic. It tastes like a liquid alcoholic Otter Pop. There's no taste of booze. Asterisks, we've all had a lot, and it's turned into a collective. I've abandoned asking people their opinions because I was tired of asking Lauren, how do you feel? Yes.
Yes, it was good.
Thank you for just saying yes and giving me a thumbs up. That's not really an opinion.
At least you and I would actually try to break it down what it actually was.
That's what it was. But this is the first of many.
Yes.
I feel like we probably can skip whiskey because we've done enough of these episodes, or maybe even do one.
I would still say go back through it because while you and I are, I would say, more connoisseurs of having just straight up everything neat or on ice or on the rocks.
But we've had enough to where we can take a sip and be like, okay, this can improve from this.
So we can do another episode that talks about that type of stuff that we experienced. But now we can also do stuff like with vodkas.
You're gonna make me fill my book, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
All right.
Are you really going to argue against that?
Did you see how easy I was to say, okay?
Yeah.
That wasn't a defeated thing. It's like, all right.
All right. So.
Because again, out of the 2 nights that happened.
It was so many pages of
literally
notes.
There's the one page, which started everything.
More pages.
And then 2 pages worth of notes. Another page's worth of notes. And that was it.
Remember, kids, if someone tells you you're not doing something right, just write it down and say you're doing it for science.
I mean, like I said, one day I plan to actually transcribe everything, and I will have notes of sorts. But from what I've learned between gin, like anything, just know what you're doing, or just maybe do a little bit of research.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's look at it this way. To a lot of people know tequila. I'll shoot that.
That's the next one. You know that, right?
Yeah, yes, I do. Vodka, you mix it in with something, or you have scotches or whiskeys if you want to just relax for that, or if you just want to get drunk. You have a number of other options. But gin, as a general consensus, is not really well known.
It is known, but it's known for only one side of it.
Right.
I feel like it's the uncool cousin of rum.
Rum, it's too much of a woo. To me, it's too much of a woo girl drink, if that makes sense.
Oh, my sweet summer child. You are so going to be involved coming this summer.
2K, like I said, I'm looking forward to that, but as of right now, I look at rum as a woo girl drink. I have had some amazing rums by itself in my time that I have thoroughly enjoyed. There are some Hawaiian rums out there I will drink straight from the bottle because I fucking enjoy it. But when you go out, it's like rum and coke or something like that.
Oh, you realize I like the rum tasting?
Uh-huh.
It probably will be at least a 2-week thing.
Okay.
Where 1 week is just rums.
Right.
And the following week is tiki drinks.
I mean, you know my love of tiki drinks.
Again, considering how many tiki drinks or the whole Polynesian culture of alcoholism dives so heavily into rum, I want to have 1 week or a day of just trying different rums.
Okay.
Because there's a huge difference. Rum, I haven't delved too far into anything else.
Right.
rum is the most diverse fucking thing I know of.
All right, then. Bring it on. You know I'm down.
Because you have light, dark, and there's like the weird extra dark. Because you can look at like, why am I blanking on its name? Bacardi. You've seen Bacardi Silver.
Yes, I have.
It's fucking clear. It looks like vodka.
Yes, it does.
You've seen Captain Morgan, where it's a little bit darker. We have your spice rums. Things are getting a little more interesting.
Right.
Then you have Myers Dark Rum. What other alcohol does that?
None that I can think of at this point. No vodkas, no gins, no.
And you can do the same thing for rums, especially there are some that are like Jamaican rums that are like 5 proof or 5-year proofed, and there are some that are even longer.
All right. Like I said, I look forward to that because you opened my eyes with gin this past weekend. So
that's what I was hoping for.
Yeah, exactly. I'm curious to see where we can go from here on that. So, if you guys have any suggestions about what you want us to cover next, I mean, we're going to cover all of them, but what you want us to cover next, let us know in the comments below so we can go ahead and.
Or not even that. If there's like cocktails you feel like that's your favorite, that you're underappreciated, or perhaps deserve their time in the sun, just fucking tell me something. I always appreciate having a lead of some kind. And of course, as Jason saw, is how far I'm willing to go for gin.
It's not really unsurprising, though, considering how much we've done in terms of whiskeys in the past.
You realize that was just my total?
Yes, I know.
That's not including Lauren?
We're not including Lauren because Lauren is just a bottomless pit, but we won't get into that at this point.
Well, let me phrase this. Lauren only actually paid for 2 bottles. Which is the bottle we're drinking now, technically.
Yes.
Affords.
Yes.
Because we drank all of mine.
That's fine, though.
We literally, that first night, we went through half a bottle of Hendrix, an entire bottle of Fords, and a fourth of the bottle of the extra strength.
All right.
Boy, we were hammered. But
let's get through the other articles we wanted to talk about from this episode, but they're just not much for a full conversation, so we just call them our quick hits. Starting off with Disney again. They have rumored that, they have confirmed that they will still make rated R Marvel movies. However, they probably will pull them away from the Disney brand. That's perfectly fine. I'm happy with that.
Again, Disney's been doing that for years. That's the whole Miramax thing.
Yes, it was.
And they actually mentioned this because they've decided, or the biggest, like, no surprise was the whole fact that, like, the next Deadpool movies will be rated R.
X-Force, Deadpool 3, it's going to be... Those have proven to be absolute giant moneymakers. Granted, yes, they went back last December and they did the whole Deadpool 2 PG-13 version.
Which, dude, I still get shit for that.
I haven't seen it yet, so was it worth it? Was it as good as the rated R version?
And here's where you're probably going to be surprised. It was not as good. Because in my eyes, it was better by a lot.
Really? Yeah. All right, I have to watch it. Okay.
We'll put it this way, Jason. What was our least favorite part of Deadpool 2?
Fucking kid.
Guess who had little to no screen time in Deadpool? Once
kid?
Upon a Time.
Okay. Already better at that point.
Basically,
okay.
Any screen time that they cut from him, they add it to Fred Savage and just like Deadpool fucking around.
Okay, I'll have to actually watch that. Moving on, Disney has also been rumored to possibly consider an intermission for Avengers 4. Reason being, the current runtime for this movie is over 3 hours. Now,
fuck you. If Peter Jackson can make his weird jack-off masterpieces that are like 3.5 hours and not require that, no. Suck it up, pee beforehand, or wear a diaper. Jess and I have tiny, like, bladders, but we know to pee beforehand, and we're fine.
So we'll have to see what happens.
Get yourself some Depends and figure your shit out.
So,
Activa.
Moving on. The Halloween movie that came out last year was fantastic. Absolutely.
Has this movie actually come out on DVD yet?
Yes, it has. I think so. I think it came out just, like, recently. So...
Because I don't own it yet, and I know I need to.
Yeah.
I've told you, I have my rule. I will buy 3 movies a year, tops.
Yes.
Jess knows I own way too goddamn many. Her and I got to a point where we had so many fucking movies. We're both like, is that yours or mine? I don't know. I think it's yours. I think I have that already.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck, whose is this? Look, you just take it and I'll buy it again. No, I will buy it again and you will take this.
Yep.
because we knew there was like that new special edition that was coming.
Yeah, exactly.
The only one that's not is still the greatest movie of all time that I've released to her, or greatest DVD of all time that's been released to her.
So
because she gives me everything.
Bringing back to Halloween itself, because it was such a popular film, and it had a great box office record, and it had great critical praise.
I think it actually broke something.
Did it break a record?
I don't know.
I mean, given the fact that it had a $10 million budget and it made $253 million, that is a Jason Blum staple. He knows how to create fantastic films on a tiny shoestring budget.
The fact that he actually came out and said the one thing he wants to do is revamp and revitalize the so many RV words.
I know.
The 80s Monster Men.
Yes.
And he's like, this is the first one. If this does well, I want to do all of it. You could have told me after hearing that it's $30 a ticket. It's like, give me Friday the 13th, like a good one, not one starring Jared Padalecki, because fuck him. I'm sorry, Sammy Winchester and Dean from fucking Stars Hollow can suck it. Those movies were god awful.
Doesn't matter, by the way. Congratulations to Supernatural for 300 episodes.
Oh fuck, we were supposed to talk about that at some point. Fuck my tangents. But no,
Jason Blum's already come out and said he has one of the rules he has for creating these films, that he doesn't want a film's budget to exceed $15 million.
See, that's both brilliant and amazing.
Yes, because it
He's
makes
literally handicapping himself. He's literally tying one arm behind his back and going, "Let's do this."
Well, look at Deadpool, right? Deadpool 1. Well, before that came out, they had this huge end sequence, this fight sequence set up, and then Fox came out and said, we need to cut $7 million from the budget. And they went,
no, they told you to cut $7 million because they told him go down to PG-13. And they basically went like this. I'm throwing so many middle fingers. I'm sorry.
That's fine. Whatever.
But
anyways, so the reason we're bringing all this up is because Halloween 2 has been greenlit. It is coming back, and it's already confirmed that Jamie Lee Curtis is coming back with most of the cast, if not all of them.
That's right, Freaky Friday. I'd still pee in your butt.
Considering how that movie ended, you're curious to see how Jason would actually come back. But in the after credits scene, there is something out there, the end credits scene, that showcases that somehow Michael survived, so we can expect a sequel with him coming back. And
we went over this with the Star Wars Marks of the Month.
Yes,
you're useless.
Anyways.
See? Another one.
Going back to that. So, let's have a laugh, shall we? At Assassin's Creed.
What are we laughing at, Jess? What are you laughing at, their giggly bits? Oh. I was half expecting some kind of weird thing where you're going to make fun of him. And I feel weird, the fact that you didn't. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
You would bring this
up. Ubisoft comes out and makes giant fanfare to say, you know what? The fans have asked for this.
No one asked for it. We are
going to create release a remastered version of Assassin's Creed 3 for Xbox One, PS4, and PC, featuring a new graphics engine along with enhancements that include higher resolution textures and support for 4K and HDR.
No one asked for this. No one.
This game was horrible.
Oh my god, I loved Assassin's Creed. I was one of those nerds that was one step away from commissioning some cosplay nerd to make me a costume. Just literally, I owned a white hoodie.
You wanted to be Ezio?
I owned a white hoodie just because I'm like, yeah, that'd be rad. I could just wear it and stand atop something tall and feel awesome. I was so excited for 3. I literally told work, if they wanted me to work the midnight before and the 2 days afterwards, they could fucking suck it because I'm not coming into work. But my favorite manager told me, please just come into work. We need you to work. No one else is willing to work it. I'm like, you piece of shit. But I adored him, so I went. And that motherfucker, and I bless him for this, my manager Ryan back in the day, Ryan Williams, he literally, that day I had to work, we got a phone call from the local GameStop making a to-go order because they had to work.
Right.
And he was like, cool, so you need wings? How about this? I'll give you a third off your order if you can hold a copy for somebody. The special edition version, because that's what he wanted, but unfortunately we made him work. So if you can make this work, I will give you a third off your order. Keep in mind, that was like $30 worth of shit, because they ordered over $100 worth of shit.
Right.
Because it was literally for the entire store. They were like, no. Okay. What if we give you half off your entire order? Could you hold a copy for him? And or would you bring it in and we could hold it here at the store, and when he's off at midnight, he can go home with it? Look, we can't do that. There's literally nothing we could do. I appreciate your integrity. I hope you enjoy paying full price. And I heard him literally say this over the fucking phone to a fucking GameStop employee. Where literally there was a stop every 5 minutes of him going, uh-huh. Yeah, no, they put me on hold.
Yeah. I remember my time working.
And then I got
GameStop.
the game and it was fucking shit.
But don't you want to pay full price for it again?
No. The game
Well,
was
yeah.
fucking terrible.
If you buy a season pass for Assassin's Creed Odyssey, you get to download it for free. Still not worth it. Let's wrap things up with our final cool thing for the episode. Hugh Jackman versus Ryan Reynolds. They have had a friendly rivalry for quite some time on social media.
We'll call it a friendly rivalry.
Yeah, we'll call it friendly. So it announced about last week that they were calling a truce, and there was a image of the two of them in person shaking hands,
Doing the weird bro hug, that weird like.
Yeah, that weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were like, okay, they're burying the hatchet. Let's see where this goes with that. So they decide to turn around and say, we're going to make a commercial for each other's company. So Hugh Jackman actually has a coffee company called Laughing Man Coffee, where the majority of the funds or the profits from that go to help out disadvantaged people. Fantastic. Meanwhile, you have Ryan Reynolds, who has his own gin company, Aviation Gin. And so they wanted to create a commercial for each other. Then they posted the video only a couple days ago.
Surprise! One side gets fucked.
Yes. Ryan Reynolds spends, according to his own words, $1 million to create this commercial showcasing Laughing Man Coffee. And it looks, very well produced, and it's showcasing what, it's good coffee, and it's for a good reason, good purpose. At the end of that, you have Hugh Jackman sitting there going,
Oh, you took this seriously.
Oh, okay. Can we
I'm not done yet. Give me time.
No. Just play it. It's literally Hugh Jackman in some room in a suit.
Just basically saying, fuck you.
Yeah. Ryan Reynolds is a piece of shit.
Essentially, yes.
The gin's not bad, though. I'll have to try it sometime.
Yeah, it's not bad, and just
grabs
tugs
a
it
bottle of
and
gin
sideways.
and sends it sideways, so it's just pouring all over the table and therefore the floor eventually. And that's the end of his commercial. And you cut back to the two, and you have Ryan Reynolds there going, "What?
That was it?
What? That was? Oh, yeah."
No, that was one of those weird internet viral things that was meant to be viral, but technically wasn't.
Yeah. Are you taking shots of Winchester?
Well, I'm about to finish mine. And I know we still have to do our own shit. No, enjoy your shit, dude.
No.
I am me.
Fill this up. Or enough for a shot. Alright. Going straight from gin to whiskey. Alright, we're gonna do this.
But I mean, like, again, we're not going, like, balls to the walls, super strong things.
This is very true.
I generally know that we finish our episodes by cheersing the internet. And we still will, but I would also like to do this as a final farewell to a very famous thing that we know little bit at least. A famous raccoon named Oreo,
Yes.
which is something I know Jason and I wanted to bring up at some point. Basically, the rocket raccoon that we all know from the Guardians of the Galaxy, at least visually, is based off of an actual raccoon
Named Oreo.
He actually passed away today, as of recording, which is February 7th. He passed away today.
The age of 10.
Which is considerably long for a raccoon.
For a raccoon, yes.
So in addition to our usual cheers to you at home, who actually wants to invest time in watching two assholes talk, thank you. But here's to Oreo, a one chubby boy who basically gave us another reason to like Bradley Cooper and forgive him for Wedding Crashers.
All right, I'll drink to that.
So to Oreo and to you guys, cheers, Internet.
Cheers, Internet. Good night, everybody.